Hi everyone, and welcome to my monthly interview series with women leaders. I'm Emily Wishall with Wishall Wellness Live in Alignment, here today with Dr. Elyssa Wright. Elyssa is a chiropractor at Body and Balance Chiropractic, and she's been my chiropractor for over the last year. I think I started working with her in February of 2017. So I'm really excited to
It's been a whole year.
Yeah. Look at me now. So I want to just start, I'm just curious, what is chiropractic care? I think that there's a lot of varying beliefs and every chiropractor is really different. I have never in my life before working with, I guess, Dr. Elyssa, I've never experienced regular chiropractic care. I've only had a couple adjustments just to try it out. And because, you know, I'm young, I haven't had pain much in my life thus far, and didn't really know why I would need to seek it out, and I'm a huge fan and convert. So yeah, what is chiropractic care?
So chiropractic care, I like to think of it as it works with the bones of the body. So you have massage therapists, which work with the muscles. You have Rolfing, which works with the fascia, and the whole point of chiropractic is to make sure all of the joints are moving the right way. So if you think about it, your muscles connect to bone. That's the point of our skeletal system. Is bones are what, one, our spine protects our spinal cord, and our brain runs everything in our body. So the spine is really, really important to make sure that your brain and nervous system are safe. Because without that, we're not doing anything.
Right, we're not functioning.
We're not moving. We're not thinking. We're not breathing. So that's number one really important thing, is to make sure that the spine is healthy, to make sure that the nervous system is healthy.
Okay.
The second really, really important part is the muscles connect to all the bones of the body.
Yeah.
So we want our muscles to have this really nice, pliable movement. And if you can imagine, one side isn't moving, our muscles get tight, and they don't
Like from
have
the bone, from the insertion on the bone.
From the insertion on the bone. So if this was a bone and this was a bone, both bones have the right movement. Now one bone doesn't move, and your muscle can get tight and stuck. So I see that with a lot of my athletes, where they're trying to work out, they're trying to move, and they keep having recurring injuries, where pulled hamstring over and over and over again. And most of the time, that's when I like to look at the bone and the joints and make sure we can get that muscle
That makes so
to
much.
move again.
That makes so much sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
So those are the two really big things that chiropractic focuses on.
Awesome. That's a really great explanation. I'm actually really appreciating too, just even thinking of the two, because you know, muscles attach and insert on two different bones in two different places, and I haven't actually thought about that in regards to chiropractic care.
Yeah.
I noticed a huge difference. I think this was last March after receiving care, and so I'd been having, you know, adjustments for about a month maybe, and I had a friend who was training for a half marathon and decided to go for a run with her, and she was running 7 miles. And at this time, you know, I was active, I was working out, but not really running that much. And I'm not somebody who can just get up and run 7 miles. 3 miles, sure. 7 miles, it's not on the cards. But I decided to, you know, for my friend Corey, I was like, well, I'll just run half of it with you, because that'll be a good push. And I can do 3.5 miles, sure, and that felt like a push. Well, I ended up doing the whole 7 miles with her and felt fine. It felt amazing, actually. You know, I was a little tired because it was new, but I was like, what is going on? And I realized, like, it's because of the chiropractic adjustments, and my body was moving more efficiently, so I used less force and effort to need to run, and that fascinated me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's one of the great things, is if your joints are moving the right way, your muscles are working the right way, so it's less effort.
Yeah.
Less effort, better movement.
Yeah, I imagine you probably hear similar, maybe, you know, different things from patients that you work with.
Yep, and it all depends on where they are in their life. So the youngest patient I've ever seen has been 1 hour old.
Oh my God, 1 hour.
1 hour.
Elyssa works on babies.
So based on where you are in life, when we get to the point that we have muscle tension, that's what I hear all the time, is less injuries, which is really, really big, especially for all my endurance athletes.
Yeah.
When you're training for big races, you can't get hurt.
Yeah.
Less injuries and more ease of movement, more flexibility in the yoga classes.
Yeah.
More strength, because now your muscles are working the right way. So for all my CrossFitters and weightlifters, the strength builds faster. So it just all in all helps progress and support.
Awesome. Yeah. And that's been my experience. I mean, I think I go about twice a month, every 3 weeks or so, and I'm not in pain. I'm not trying to get out of pain. I just want to feel really good in my body, and have really fallen in love with my adjustments. And what I notice is I'll often feel different after an adjustment, because Dr. Elyssa, she always has me walk before and after just to see, and I can tell a difference, I can tell a change, but I would say like 48 hours or so after, I probably forget I had the adjustment. But I know that I would feel a lot different if I wasn't coming in here and receiving care. I would actually probably get out of alignment faster. My workouts, I probably would have not as good recovery, because I've really amped up my activity level, and it's feeling really, really, I've been feeling good in my body, and I know a big piece of that is because I come in here before pain sets in, more of a preventative maintenance.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, one of the big fears with chiropractic is, am I going to get addicted? Am I going to have to come all the time? And what I always say is, it's up to you with what type of care that you want. I have some people that really want to come in and get out of pain and get back to their lives, and that works. I have other people that feel really good, like Emily, and go, all right, how do I maintain this and avoid being in pain altogether?
Yeah.
And that's more of a preventative model of how do we get in front of any misalignments, and how do we make sure everything's moving and working the right way before there's even a problem.
Totally, yeah. Well, so on that note, I think of then that 1 hour-old baby that you worked on. So why would somebody bring a baby to you, right?
So babies are so fun to work on. How the nervous system works is we have two halves of it. So we have the rest and digest, and then we have the fight or flight.
Okay.
So as adults, we tend to live more in the fight or flight with our high stress and our desk jobs and always kind of being in this anger, move, go posture.
Yeah.
Whereas babies, they need to be more in a relaxed, I need to eat, I need to sleep, I need to go to the bathroom. That's the world that they live in. And chiropractic care, our number one thing is we work with the nervous system. So if you can imagine living in a small house for 9 months, and maybe while you were in that small house, your hand was up here. Maybe when you were in that small house, you had something wrapped around your neck.
Yeah.
Maybe your leg was up by your ear. So you don't know how that baby was in utero for that entire time.
And it's a long time, and it's everything. The nervous system's growing, the bones, the fascia's developing. I mean, that's a really important time that I think is often neglected or not thought about.
Yeah, we just don't think about it because we don't think about what happened before delivery.
Right.
And then delivery in itself can be a little traumatic. There is a lot of things going on. So I recommend to all of my pregnant mamas and all of my new parents to bring them in and get them checked. It helps with the colic, it helps with ear infections, it helps with latching for breastfeeding, it helps with regulating sleep.
Oh, and regulating sleep. I'm sure all you new mom parents need that.
So I always recommend coming in and getting checked, just to make sure that the nervous system can develop as well as it can. And there's nothing interfering any type of proper development.
Awesome. Well, so because I think one of the fears that come up about chiropractic is the cracking, the snapping, popping. So why would somebody would definitely not want to bring their baby in for that?
No, totally get it. I wouldn't want to bring my baby in if there was going to be snapping and popping. The technique that is used on newborns is completely different than the technique used on adults. So if you can imagine when you go into the grocery store and you're going to pick up a tomato to see if it's ripe. So you're squeezing this little tomato as lightly as possible because you just want to check and see. That's the amount of pressure that's used.
So that's really light.
Really, really light. No more than if you go to touch your eyelid. That's it.
Oh, goodness gracious. And can you feel from that level at like small amount of pressure, you can feel a change? Yep.
There is no muscle holding, and the body wants to be in the right position. So when you have no tension in your system, your body wants to find its alignment.
In particular, babies don't have all the stories wrapped around it, the beliefs, the repetitive patterns, anything set in yet. They're just
Yeah,
They just want to feel good.
They want to feel good, and that's all they want to do. So I have conversations with my newborn babies to, one, ask permission that I can enter their body space, because I think they still kind of have a say in that. So, and then we just hang out.
That's
and
amazing.
Wait until everything shifts where it needs to shift.
Wow. How long is an adjustment with a baby? Is it similar to an adult or a lot faster?
A lot faster.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. There isn't as many different layers. So normally a few minutes.
So you work from newborns to...
My oldest has been 99.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So.
And what would you like, if I don't, this is a on the spot question, but I'm just thinking of like the biggest difference. You know, I have ideas between what I would, but what would you say the biggest difference between that baby and that 99-year-old client? And I don't know how long that 99-year-old had been receiving care. And I think that would make a big difference in the tissue.
Yep.
But
it's, I always say every single person that comes into my office is a different person, and it's a different treatment. So I start really, really light with my babies, more force if a person wants the cracking and the popping. Some people are really afraid of those noises.
yeah.
And if they're afraid of those noises, I have other tools in my tool bag to make sure that everybody is safe and comfortable within my office space.
Which is huge.
And as my patients get older, it tends to be more light force.
Okay.
Just because their bodies have been through a lot, and
it's interesting how there's like kind of that curve. You kind of go back to the
so they don't need quite as much. They're in a different phase.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So what got you into the chiropractic path?
Well,
This is something I actually have no idea of your story.
So I started my college education as a pre-pharmacy major.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, so I was starting with pharmacy, and I did a bunch of shadowing and realized that I really, really wanted to connect with patients, and that we don't spend time at the counters when we pick up our prescription interacting with the pharmacists. We're usually trying to get in and out as quickly as we can.
Totally.
So I really wanted to have that connection and spend that time. And I went to study abroad in Sydney, Australia, and took a class at the chiropractic school.
Oh.
And
just happened?
happened to take a class.
Very cool.
And hearing all of the other chiropractic students talk about the connection they were making lit me up. And I was like, this is what I want to do. So I came back, changed my major, and switched to chiropractic school.
Very awesome.
Yeah. So I hear about the new babies, the houses, the house renovations, the grandkids.
You really get to know your patients.
Yeah.
And you especially, Dr. Elyssa's model is really, it's not the 2-minute in and out adjustment. Like you come in, I mean, it's not an hour-long appointment, but there's still, every time I come in, you know, we talk and you actually really, not that the 2-minute adjustments don't care, but there's a deeper level of caring and really getting to know. And I feel really, really held as a patient, which I think that so many of us, when we're seeking out care, I think really desire to be held and to be supported, and that our practitioner actually really cares as us, not just as a client or patient, but as a person.
Yeah, and there is so much technology nowadays.
Yeah.
That we are connecting through screens.
Yeah.
So we're connecting through a phone, through a tablet, through a computer, and the hands-on connection doesn't happen the way that it once did.
Yeah.
So I really feel like it's important to make sure that there's time for the body to receive the muscle work and the adjustment and find its center again.
Totally. Yeah. And then that gives you what you found that you desired in college.
And I get to connect with all of my patients, and they become my family. So
very cool.
Yeah.
What would you, I guess I'm curious if you have, like, I always like to give a tangible takeaway, something that people can play with. And you know, what we do works a lot on the posture. I don't know if you have like a number one posture tip or alignment tip, or you know, just an easy cue we could start playing with.
So one of the biggest things that I notice when people walk in is younger and younger, we're starting to get the old lady hump. Can you see the old lady hump?
I've seen that on like 15-year-olds.
Yeah, I've seen it as young as
Crazy.
8.
Oh, goodness.
So one of the best things to do is try to be aware of where you're at when you're using your device, where you're at when you're driving your car, where you're at when you're working on your computer. And we all tend to have this rolled forward. So to undo that is I like to shake it out and put both feet flat on the floor. And then what you want to think, I'll use Emily as my nice demo here. What you want to think about doing is a string coming out of the center of your head. So from your pelvis, think of that string pulling straight up. And you want to lengthen and elongate. And then think about your wings of your shoulders gliding down your back. So you come from here
And
to a
remember to breathe.
space of
I stopped
lengthen and
breathing.
along, shoulders down the back, and then just take 3 nice deep breaths. So you get double benefit. 1, you're getting your spine back up, you're opening up your chest, and 2, that breath is stretching all of the muscles around your lungs, through your rib cage, and giving you time to take a break. Because so many times we get stuck into our work, and those 3 breaths to take a break will help you reset, change your posture.
Doesn't take long at all. That's what's amazing. I think we think we don't have time. But
Yeah, and it takes less than 30 seconds, and you're back at your work.
I love those cues. I would recommend everyone, I might actually bullet them out in the comments below so you can copy, paste, print them out. Because I think so many of us are trying to have good posture when we sit, but it's like chest up, shoulder, like really, really hard. And that's coming from that inner place that lets it feel easier and lets those large muscles relax.
Yeah, and you want everything to be relaxed. So many times I see people sit up straight and then they pop their chest out and actually hurt their back. So
Don't do that.
grow.
Grow. Cool. What a good tip. I'm going to remember that today as I'm driving in my car when I'm triggered by traffic. Do you mind just saying real quickly the bullets again?
Yeah, so things, both feet flat on the floor.
Feet pat on the floor, okay.
And then you want to think about growing from your pelvic floor up your spine.
And what
like
if somebody has no
string.
idea what their pelvic floor is?
I like to think of your sit bones.
Okay. And your sits bones are?
Sits bones are those 2 hard places when you wiggle back and forth you can feel.
Yep, I feel them.
Right in the center of those sit bones is pretty much, give or take, the center of your pelvic floor. So from finding a balance in between your 2 sits bones, and then think of a string pulling straight up from that space in between your sit bones all the way up through the top of your head.
Awesome.
And then shoulders melt down your back.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you. That's easy. But and know if you try that the first time and you're like, this is hard, I don't get it. These are the cues like this is really, it's more and more about developing your own body awareness and your own inner conversation. And the first time you might not get it, or it might feel like, oh, maybe a little. The more times you check in, the more times you do it, the easier and more natural that you're automatically just going to do that. So just give yourself some, permission, patience. If the first time you're like, I don't feel it, don't just throw it out. Play with it multiple times through the day. It's the consistency and redoing it, re-remembering it that's going to start letting it land. And
and I tell my patients, don't expect to feel it for at least 2 weeks. It takes a little bit of time until you figure it out, and you'll be sitting one day and stretch up and be like, that's it.
Cool.
So it will happen, I promise.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
For being here. I really enjoyed chatting with you. And I'm a big chiropractic convert. Rolfer turned chiropractic convert. And actually I think the 2 modalities are really beautiful together. But in all aspects of life, I think just prevention is amazing. And how do we get to seek pleasure as opposed to avoid pain? And how can we shift that paradigm for ourselves, for our society, for our culture? Because I don't think that we always, everyone gets to have their own decision, but it's like I desire to feel good, and this is just a modality I found. And a practitioner I found. That's the thing, is finding somebody who really works with your body. I feel really, really safe in Dr. Elyssa's care. She actually always starts the adjustments really gently with me, which is good for my body and my nervous system. And I'm just really grateful to find this. So How can we, if people want to learn more about the work you do and curious to connect?
If you want to learn more about my office and my practice, you can visit me on my website. It's bodyandbalancechiropractic.com.
Body. Okay.
And for my new patients that come from Emily, I do offer a 50% discount on that first visit. So if you want to come in, see how I work, see how my office is, experience chiropractic, it's really easy. And if you get here, you chat with me and go, you know what, I don't think this is the right fit. I've had that happen too. So my job is to make sure that you feel safe, comfortable, and really in charge of your body and the care you want for your body.
Yeah, which I think that's why I so respect what you do, is because that is such a high value of you, is the patient gets to be in charge of their care, and it's not a model of you sign up for this many adjustments, or, you know, there's never any pushing, obviously, recommendations, because you know you're the expert, but it's not a scary place. Awesome. So Dr. Elyssa's website's bodyandbalancechiropractic.com. I'll also put a link to that. And thank you for that generous offer of 50% off the initial. That's really great. Any other little things you want to share before we sign off? Or?
No, I feel like we covered a lot.
We covered a lot. We covered a lot. Awesome. Well, I know I will be playing with feeling that string from my pelvic floor.
I need to do that now too.
Yeah, and checking in with my posture throughout the day. And I hope you will too. I hope this was helpful and informative for all of you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. And take care, everyone. Bye-bye.